ice cold juice. Please help yourself, or if you need, I can throw from here. Raise your hand. Anybody? You already, but some of them have just joined. There are 4 still left. Should I throw? Who wants it? Extra, I mean, I bought it for myself, but I'm always greedy. I don't finish, and in fact, I normally get lot of other eatables, snacks, many, bhujia, this and that. I don't even open it. It's all still, in the bag, so I'm going to take it home. Not even one I opened. No time. But anyway, so let's get started. Good morning to all of you. Thanks for joining yesterday for that lecture. It's such a long day. You were able to still make it, but I was rushing through the last part of writing journal articles. So I thought I would go through that again. Some of them will be a repeat. Please bear with me, but it's helpful for you because the more you hear, the more familiar you become. All right, thank you. Okay, thanks. I have 2 parts again, but then after those 2 things are over, some of you asked me to give me or give you a trail of where I started, what I did, what is my current research program, what are the projects I worked on. So that kind of a overall summary that I would like to give towards the end of this lecture, but I will take first 1 hour and 15 minutes, we will be done. Dr. Venkat Reddy will come around 11 o'clock. He will take only 30 minutes, he said. So then we should be done with lecture part by 12 with break in the middle. But then 12 to 1, I think they are planning for valedictory session or function. It's a small gathering, or only 2 of us will be handing out the certificates. By noon or 1 o'clock, I think we should be done wrapping up from here. Okay, that's the plan for today, for this morning. So it's not going to be too long, so hang tight, so we should be fine. Okay, so I want to ask you a question based on what you think I will go. Would you prefer to start with how to conduct research part? That is the part that I even had yesterday. Some of you joined in the middle. I don't know when you all came. This last part I had was the journal articles. I know you came, most of you came, but I had to rush it because it was already 1 hour for me. Raise your hands who prefer how to conduct research to be presented first. Raise your hands down. Raise your hands if you want how to write journal articles. Okay, equally split. Maybe you raised the hands for both. Let me ask that question again. Research methods. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, slowly everything is coming up. Okay, okay, then I think it's obvious. Let's go with how to conduct research, the first part. Okay. Again, these are kind of built over the years. When I invite faculty from different departments to come to my seminar class to conduct this lecture for our graduate students in the department, they gave some information which I kind of used. Some of them are mine, some of them are borrowed. So I just want to acknowledge that. Again, this is more of a general overview of how to conduct research. What are the important elements of research? It might look very amorphous or shapeless when you are thinking about research, right? But your advisor, your supervisor will help you conduct research. What I am talking about is on top of what they are telling, so that you can combine both of these inputs and try to formulate your research plan, and how you can even be successful in doing a very methodical research. Okay. For research to be successful, one needs to focus in on specific research questions, objectives and hypothesis, and the rest will fall in place nicely. Again, I just show this as a road map or research road, I call this, in my neighborhood that I normally walk in this area. It's a hilly nice climb that you have, good for heart. So in research, first thing is formulating research questions, basically identifying a problem that starts with the research part as a first step. There are so many problems to address, there are so many issues that you need to answer, that is more meaningful, that's not done so far, that's very impactful and all that, but you cannot choose all of them, right? So you choose the best that you can do for a given setting, collect the data, sampling part that I am talking about. In our case, if you are in the modeling framework, obviously you are going to access the data sources that we kind of showed over the course of this class, where to download remote sensing data, climate data or flow data, and all kinds of information that you are kind of slightly exposed to. But again, these linkages or these data sources are dynamic, they are changing. So if you put this aside, whatever links that we gave for a year and think of checking that after a year, some of them are probably not there, they are gone. So again, keep an idea of the concept, the exact linkages you may have to really constantly check, but then again, once you have the data, the next step is design the experiment. Whether you will, when I say experiment, it could be simulation or modeling experiment also, or it could be just based on observations, right? You have to properly design what you want to do with that data, how you want to use that data. Okay. So again, this is kind of in the same order. When you have designed, some of the data may not be available to you, so you have to go to the field and collect it. Some already are downloaded from some other sources. Ultimately, you collect and combine the data that you have collected and then analyze them. First thing, important thing is to understand what the data tells you. It could be observed data with very limited time period. Just plot that and check, are there any spurious data points or outliers or minus 999s or things like that. And again, that's only a cursory look of quality of data, quality check I am talking about. Then analyzing, if you are doing some stochastic or statistical trend analysis or trying to find out the patterns, or looking at the variabilities or many statistical measures that you can conduct, just to get a glimpse of it. Again, that is going to be refined based on how you set the design experiment, how you conduct your workflow chart that you will have, do it repeatedly, and then of course you will have an idea of what kind of results you get. Once you got some results in terms of numerical numbers or graphs, compare different plots. Many times what happens is you may produce more results than what you would end up filtering ultimately. In my case, I will tell you, we make about 100 graphs, but hardly we use 10 of them to put it in the paper or the chapter. The reason is, of course, the rest are not meaningless or useless, but we don't directly use them in the paper, but use them for inference, for making some discussion points, or even connecting the dots. Everything may not be presented. You cannot have 15 figures or 20 figures in a paper, they don't accept it. But it will help you to draw points for discussion, results and discussion section of the paper, and then you can also highlight major ones in the results at the end of it for conclusions. Okay. So again, theory could research could be theoretical, empirical, and sometimes they say philosophical underpinnings of research to really validate the idea, and then how you conduct the research with very verifiable data sources, reliable data sources, and also you don't fudge anything. You know, people try to say, okay, pattern is not coming, so why don't I move the data points here and there and make it look good? No, if somebody does the work and if they get different results with the same data set, then you will be in trouble. So as much as possible, integrity of conducting research should be held at the highest level. So that way you will really be cherishing what you do later on. What makes a successful researcher? Hard work, certainly hard work, and little bit of luck. You know, after you set the research path, you are going to work hard, which you are already doing. I don't have any doubt about that. But all I'm saying is, don't give up. Don't say that what I'm doing is already more than enough. Those kinds of assumptions are not needed. Regular workouts or working on the topic is very, very important. Again, you will set out to do something, but you end up finding something interesting in the middle of the way, which is okay. You know, it's accidental finding on a different problem that you end up with, which is fine. You know, you may end up with more papers, more discussion points. So don't worry about extending the work. But if you find something interesting in the middle of the way, you can stop and check and then say, okay, I will report this as part of one paper or research results. Where do you start normally? That is a question you always have, right? It's basically literature review as the first point that I would say. You will start looking at what's all done. Let's say you work for Krishna River Basin or you work for Mahanadi. You will meticulously collect all the papers that are available. Go to the library. Nowadays even you can do all the things online. Google Scholar provides you, ResearchGate provides you access to some of these preprint versions of the articles. The best thing is to download them, save as PDF, and then repeatedly check what's the work about and how is the novelty part that they have done. Are there any gaps they have? I will come back to that later, but again, that is going to help you set the stage correct. Look at any paper that is more close. Not all the papers. If let's say you download 100 papers, not all of them are going to be useful to you, but some of them are going to be useful. Some of them are going to be useful for conducting the coding aspect or analytical aspect of it, but some of them are useful for providing the background of the study area. Some of them are giving you an idea about how they introduce the problem, how they motivate the readers. Some of them are just for graphics. Some papers really present well with their graphics. So you get as much as possible from different papers, different sources, and then look at the interesting ones that are providing you with some significant clue of how you can conduct research, and then look at what kind of assumptions they have made. Then you do your own assumptions, and then when you combine all of them together, it makes it meaningful. Work out the details of the solution. There is no substitute for staying away from the problem, but instead you should make your hands dirty. Meaning, if you are a coder, don't be afraid of digging your hands into the code. Do it many times. I have seen your proficiency with respect to coding, which is very important these days for modelers. That is the essential skill, right? And then there is no gain without pain. So that is the part you always have to think about. So sometimes you have luck, right, to get the serendipitous findings, accidental, incidental findings, but sometimes you don't. So in that case, of course, your painful implementation of certain things are going to be really helping you to gain significantly. Also, if you got some interesting results, keep thinking about how to interpret, how to communicate, how to share, whether or not they are meaningful with your friends or colleagues. Constantly do that. It helps, opens up your eyes, and some eyes will catch something that you don't catch from looking at these graphs or plots. and it might help you in some regard. And I have seen the collegiality or collaborative nature of all of you. So there is no conflict that, oh, I am going to do what he is doing or he is going to do what I am doing. No, don't worry about all that, but at this point you have to worry about getting your research done correctly, sharing that information, getting some insights from others, right? So that should be fine. How do you select a challenging problem? Many cases you are assigned a project, they will ask you, okay, this is the funded project that I need you to work on as a research scholar. That case, yes, you will take that problem, but of course there will be flexibility in defining what you want to analyze and then go for in-depth research approach. But in some cases they will say, do whatever is possible for you based on your background, based on the data availability. So there is more flexibility there, but that does not mean it's a big help for you, because you will be clueless unless you know exactly what you want to do. So both has pluses and minuses, both approaches. Handing out a project to you that you will work has got a lot of advantages. In the same time, it also provides you a quick start, especially when there is a big project. If somebody had already done parts of it and you are taking over the remaining aspect of it, it's a quick start. You will really hit the ground running very quickly and get some tangible results in a very short time. 3, 4, 5 years is not uncommon, but again you condense that based on how much of an advantage you take with the previous group members' work basically. But in other cases you will try to innovate yourself in finding out the problem, which is not bad. Identifying the problem is a big deal, all the time thinking about it and how to improve what has already been done or how to do it differently. All of those questions come to your mind when you want to frame the research question. There are 3 ways you can choose to focus. Descriptive, meaning you are setting out to identify a solution to a problem and you have the data, you try to go step by step and say, this is how I achieved, this is the results I got. Relational, somebody had already done, how that is related to what you are doing, you are going to connect that. Causal, basically when I am talking about, let's say in the scientific settings, we are looking at, was this the reason for that part? See, yesterday, thanks for sending that landslide. I in fact started in my talk yesterday also giving a brief overview of the landslide that we had unfortunately in Uttarakhand at around 3-4 o'clock in the evening. It was I was able to see that instantly when I was checking some news. I presented the clips also with some help from scholars here to get me the video. So I was showing that before you all joined in my last evening lecture. So what caused that landslide? Heavy rainfall was the problem in that area over the last few days, and they were anticipating, but they did not anticipate this level of ferocious flow. They had wiping out, moving all the buildings on its way. Very tragic incident. But anyway, coming back to the solving of problems, how do you know the problem can be solved? That is a question you will ask, right? Or how do you frame the research design? One thing you should keep in mind, if the problem is already solved and you already know what you are going to get as a result, there is no point in doing that again. A repetition of what is already done is absolutely not encouraged, because it does not bring novelty. It makes your life little bit difficult even when you want to communicate as a journal article. If somebody says, oh, they have just copied that work and just modified a little bit and improved or presented the same thing. So if that impression you give to people, that's not research, right? So keep that in mind. Again, start with simple assumptions for your analysis, and then you may have lot of data, but you may not use some of them. Let's say, for example, in our hydrology example, you have rainfall, temperature, wind speed, humidity, radiation, basic weather variables, right? And then you also have flow data, soil moisture data, groundwater data. everything under the sun for hydrological analysis, right, that you can imagine. But based on your question, you may, for instance, groundwater is not part of your analysis. You are going to assume on a long term basis the steady state condition of the water table is not disturbed, but the upper layer unsaturated zone is the one that is impacting. So, in that case you can conveniently ignore even groundwater. So, those kind of assumptions you will make, or in the event scale we talked about assuming certain things, right. ET is not a big deal, or deep discharge is not a big deal. We are talking only about surface runoff or lateral flow or through flow below surface. Those are the two things that if you are focused on, rest of the things on a daily time step or a event scale is not a problem. You can assume to be simple, you can ignore them. So, but you have to state it, you have to state. Let us say another one example, energy budget, net radiation which is split into latent, ground sensible heat fluxes, right. If you are talking about annual scale energy budget analysis, your energy flux change with the ground heat flux part is nearly 0. You do not have to really consider that for calculations. Even if you have the data, you can ignore it. But you have to say that your assumption is that on an annual scale, ground heat flux is averaged out to be negligible. So, that is why we are not including. So, you kind of deduce the assumptions, remove some of the data set that you do not want to consider, but explain it. Those kind of things that I am talking about. And then time element is something important for us, hydrologically speaking. When you are calculating the stream flow, you want to know how they are changing for a given location, whether it is Ankushapur or other places, or then look at on a space time domain different locations of gauging stations and see how the flow is changing, right. But you can also say the water that you have in Ankushapur is of good quality because it is upstream portion of the watershed. But the same water when it goes to Maneru and from Maneru to Godavari and ending up in the ocean, that is Bay of Bengal, at that location outlet, if you want to track the same source of water that starts in Ankushapur, you can say quality is different. So, that is a longitudinal analysis that what we are talking about over space, over time. Lagrangian principle, that is what we call. The first one, looking at the flow for a particular location day after day, month after month, year after year, that is an Eulerian approach basically. That is the only difference. When you are doing research questions, ask these fundamental questions. Who is it going to go? Who is needing this information that you are producing? Or what is the information that you want to produce? Where is the information that is available or that is not available? When can you do, why, how, all framing of these kind of questions. Example that I am talking about, do total loads of antibiotic resistance genes in wastewater treatment vary regionally? Do they vary? The answer, we do not know. Only by looking at different locations you say, yeah, it is varying by every location, then you answer that question, but you cannot answer without looking at the data. What are the regional trends? Meaning for all the locations you are going to plot the temporal change over time and say all together what is the trend that we are talking about. Okay. So, of course, you can use chat tools or any other methods in of course that I used to have in my class, but what I say is give few minutes to really come up with a question and then ask each one of them to say what they want to do. That exercise we will not do here, but the next part, once you identify the problem, you have to frame the research objectives and hypothesis. What is an objective? Statement of what you plan to accomplish in your proposed research project. That is basically the aim of your overall project. How you would do it is the task, right? That is more specific, that is the methods part. And the goal, the overall goal where you want to go. You may ultimately want to look at how much is the water that is diverted or discharged from Godavari, but you are going to start from simulating the upstream portions of all the catchment areas and then look at how they are changing, right, over time and space. Ultimately your goal is to look at the water budget, water management, water resources understanding of the whole central India, something like that. That would be a bigger goal, but then you have to really split it into objectives or aims for each of the tasks that you will do. Well written objective gives a sense of what will be done or measured or why you are measuring it with an overall purpose. So, spend time to think about how to phrase an objective. That is very, very important. Okay. And then in this case, I mean, it is very long winding statement here. Let me read that for you. The objective, example 1 is, the objective of this study was to determine if smoke from wildfires influences indoor levels of gaseous polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and if the gas phase pollutant should be factored into stay indoor recommendations during wildfires. So, wildfire is a very common problem there, and when that happens outside, does it affect the indoor water quality or sorry air quality? That is the part that we want to ask, and if the gas pollutants should be factored in to stay indoors recommendation during wildfires. So, if that is not impactful, or if the pollutants are not really harmful, do we really offer recommendations to people to stay indoors? That is the second part of the objective that they are talking about here, paraphrased from some published paper. So, clearly defined what they want to go after to find an answer, right. So, that is the kind of example that I wanted to show you. There is another example, I will skip that, similar one that you can read and understand. So, now by summarizing what I say about framing the objective, it should be clear, very declarative statement. Do they change? Do I mean, do we calculate this? Do I estimate based on this model? You ask yourself and phrase that scientifically. It cannot be a casual sentence or a colloquial sentence. It should be scientifically written like the example that I showed. It should be identifying the unknown problem, right. If it is a problem, I mean unknown findings, basically you do not know what is happening. There is a gap in understanding which you are trying to phrase as a question or an objective, and then illuminate the way to address this knowledge gap. So, how does your research fill that gap? There is already that exists. An example I would say here, we know the modified or human induced changes to water cycle. You do not know how water budget is affected because of extraction, because of all the other things that we showed in the graphics in other classes, but you can phrase the question that it has never been done before, right. That kind of an assumption you should have, and you should mention in the paper somewhere, but your objective should lead to people to believe, oh wow, the way how they are explaining that, it seems like it is a new problem that they do not have solution so far. That kind of an impression you should create. You are not going to say they have done it, I am going to do it again. That is not helpful, right. That helps that knowledge gap part. What will you do and how will you do? That is another part in terms of methodology part, but when you write that down, if you go back to your objective, it even helps you to refine it. You may not write a perfect objective in the first place, but write one sentence or statement, how you plan to do it, what you will try to find out, and then rephrase your objective again based on how you consider your analysis. That will actually be helpful. It is an iterative process. You cannot just think about writing a clear objective in the first instance. Okay, you may write that down, put it aside, come back in the evening and then read it. Am I writing it correctly? You ask yourself critically some questions. Okay, it should be specific but not overly prescribed. You are not doing engineering project. Remember that engineering project has got a over prescribed approach to solving a problem, for a solution. Yours is a research problem. It is not an engineering problem. For example, highway engineering people would tell you to go and design a culvert for diverting the flow under in the road. But it is a problem that you know how to solve by designing, by allowing the flow to come, or how to allow the flow and all that. But that is not research, right. That is a task for an engineering problem that you will try to answer. That is over prescribed, but you have to be specific enough that it is more scientific. Strong literature review helps, reading more papers helps, how they phrase the questions. In the last part of every paper, in the introduction, a good paper, many times they refer to their objective, saying this paper sets out to solve these 3 objectives, 1, 2, 3, like that. So if even if they don't list it, when you are writing, of course, if you do that, it immediately sometimes gets the positive review. There is another one you need to remember, hypothesis testing. Hypothesis is a specific statement of prediction. It describes in concrete rather than theoretical terms that what you will be finding out from this analysis, right. So set out a null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis, and by rejecting the null hypothesis, you will then try to conclude the result or the experiment or the analysis. There are 2 kinds of hypothesis, statement of relationship among 1 to more variables, but the deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning, there are 2 kind of hypothesis. The hypothesis should be simple enough and falsifiable. You say the trend is increasing in the hypothesis, and your results say it is not increasing. You are falsifying your hypothesis, right. So that is an example that I am talking about. Inductive reasoning, basically you stimulate some kind of a statement based on your exploratory work, based on your investigative work. You come to conclusion saying that you are hypothesizing, oh, this is the reason why it is happening. So we understand that this happened because of this. You can say at the end of the analysis, that is a deductive reasoning. But you can also say this is what is happening and I am going to test this and falsify my hypothesis, and that is your deductive reasoning. The second one is inductive, the one I am saying. So deductive means basically if you look at more general to more specific, you start with theory, set the hypothesis, look at the observation and confirm what you are trying to prove, and that is your basically deductive. Inductive is you start with observation, look at the pattern, test the hypothesis and come up with a broader understanding of what this means. The difference between those 2 is this, okay. And again, a simple example, the hypothesis of the study, you will write hypothesis for every objective that you will solve, right, you will perform. For this case, let us say the hypothesis of the study is that chloramine may be less persistent than free chlorine in certain situations encountered in premise plumbing. So when there is nitrification, what happens? When there is iron pipe, what happens? Is kind of a question that you can answer and then prove whether or not maybe it is less persistent or free of chlorine in certain situations or something like that. A lab scale, another example, a lab scale pipe study was constructed in which the type of pipe, presence of nitrification, type of disinfectant were varied. So if you do these settings here and answer the question, it really helps you to conclude or accept or reject this example, right. A core set of antibiotic resistant genes exist globally across all wastewater treatment plants. That is what you are going to say. You are stating a hypothesis, right, a hypothesis based on observations that ARGs exist globally across all wastewater treatment plants. ARG is basically antibiotic resistant genes, right. We consume lot of antibiotics and through the effluents, through the sewers, we send them out to the wastewater treatment plants, and we want to ask the question that do they really exist in those wastewater treatment plants? Do they reach those places or do they get somewhere absorbed in the soil or in the water system or something like that? You will try to answer that question. So this is kind of an inductive hypothesis example. Okay. So again, this is a kind of repeat. So I will go to the next slide here. How do I know that my solution of the problem is correct? Use your methodology to analyze a problem that has already been studied by others. Of course, for example, in this case, SWOT model, let us say. Okay, you are running a model. You want to know whether my simulation is correct. Some people would have done not for the same basin, some other basin, some other region within the country, and they got some range or within the observed range to simulated range, whether or not you are getting. You can check all those things yourself before concluding that the model results are perfect, model results are not perfect, right. And again, compare your results with many other ways. In our case, in the simulation experiments, normally we validate them with observed data, and then based on that you come back to your hypothesis that you set out to say whether you accept it or reject it, right. There are lots of examples in any field if you choose for hypothesis available, but only thing is the hypothesis when you set out, it should be having measurable variables that you can use them to analyze and say accept or reject your hypothesis, right. So now you have research questions, objectives, hypothesis, but are you done with that? It's all matters, and are you done with that? No, probably not. So basically you are going to find out whether or not you have solved the problem in many different ways and it converges to the same conclusion, right. That is the approach that you want to take. Again, put your results in the context of literature. If everybody else have said 1500 millimeters of rainfall within this Warangal area is divided into this amount of precipitation to runoff to ET soil moisture, and if you are going to flip that result into totally different number, you have to be strong in defending your numbers, right. And how they have done, how you are doing it, then those kind of calculations and comparisons comes into play. It cannot be objectively said, okay, one person has said something, I do not want to say the same because I want to be new and novel, so I am going to say something new. That will not work. You can validate their work, but with your own approach, right. That is an important part. Publications, again, finding the papers through different sources, lots of ways you can do it. Again, this is out of date, but all I am saying is go to Google Scholar or open sources that are nowadays are becoming really very quick to share the results. Web of Science is another place where you can find the publications. Look for papers. One author, when you find out that he has published a paper that is very relevant to you, dig deeper by going into that author's other papers, because they may have some connections to it. It might even help you how they divide different topics within the given given project. Okay, and then citation. I am still seeing scholars when they summarize their work and list the references, it's not in conformity or it's not in line with what the format the the journal people wants to see. So use these kinds of packages, Mendeley or EndNote, and that's going to be helping you to format these references. Very, very important. In the first first impression is the best impression, right? When you submit a paper to a journal, you have to check the journal. Every journal has got different formats in listing their references. If you are targeting a particular journal, list all the references in the same order. That's very, very helpful. The more thorough you are in the first instance itself, the more they appreciate, and you will have a positive outcome. That's very important. Okay, so again, how to read a journal article? That's another interesting thing, because when you start your research, you identify papers. There are so many of them, right? But then you don't want to read everything in detail because it will take forever. Maybe first one paper as a master student, MTech student, when you start reading, you may take to read fully and understand everything may take 5 days, let's say, right? If you do this as a practice, probably towards the end of your first year, you might even reduce that time to 1 or 2 days. As a PhD scholar, if you do that repeatedly, within 1 hour, 2 hours, you can quickly glance some of these papers and say which one is relevant to me. Where would you start? You start with abstract, read what they have proposed. What is, I'll come back to abstract when we are writing in a journal article part. I mentioned yesterday, I don't know how many of you grabbed that part, BPMRC I mentioned, for writing our own abstracts. But everybody has a different format, but I like this one. It's published kind of approach where background, problem statement, methodology, results and conclusion. This is how the structure of the abstract is. it's very easy to know what the background, within 2 sentences they should have introduced the background problem, and then within another sentence or 2 they would say what they did as an objective of the paper, and then last 2 sentences will be talking about the results. So you get a quick idea of just reading the abstract in 10 minutes. Maybe it takes half an hour to fully understand, but 10 minutes for abstract understanding. Read the intro quickly and see whether they are catching some of the gaps that exist in their approach or in the literature, and then look at the results. Are there anything connections that they are establishing between objectives to results? And then last paragraph is always going to be broader in context for discussions. So quickly read them through. So what I am saying is, reading a paper, time wise, if you look at it, it takes longer time in the beginning, but you will be faster and faster. That practice, if you cultivate, it is going to help you a lot. Okay. I think last part I wanted to say here, okay, you have to be conscious about what to ask as a question, right? And then say, is it helping anybody, or you are just trying to do some research for the sake of doing, for the sake of adding a line in your CV. I have a paper published on this topic when nobody has actually used it. That's less impactful, right? Is it useful for the society? That is a question that you will ask. Having a vision is okay, but being delusional is not good, right? You want to have a clear cut ideas about what you want to do, but you touch all the things, grazing all the tip of the grasses, but not going deeper, will not give you an idea. So balance it out in a way that helps your research goals. Again, ask this question to yourself: how this idea of doing research and finding the results helps the community, helps the region, helps the world. I mean, you don't change the world overnight with one research topic. All I am saying is whether it contributes to anything that is not existing so far, right? That's very helpful. That's very helpful. Is the product of your work of low quality research paper that nobody will ever read? If so, then don't do it. Bear in mind that if you don't do research right, don't follow the methods correctly, and if you end up getting some junk results, it's waste of time for you, for the people who read it, and probably it may not even ever get published or communicated. So don't do anything that's of no use. So always think about how valuable I'm going to be, my work will be. If you keep thinking along those lines, you will motivate yourself to do something that nobody has done so far, something like that. That's very, very important. I'm going to stop here for questions, and then maybe I will take a quick, of course, I can continue doing the next one also and finish it by 10:45. Any questions at this point for how to conduct research? Takeaways, identify a problem, set out the objectives, and also look at research questions and then set the hypothesis, and do it methodically and find out how the results can be meaningful. That's it. That's research. Doing literature review and keeping it as a practice. Every day read 1 or 2 papers. Every week, if you cannot read every day, that's fine. Accumulate paper for in one evening. If you sit down and say, these are the papers I am going to start, by Friday afternoon you say, I am going to download 5 of the most relevant articles to my research, and then keep it aside, start that reading those papers by Monday. 5 days, 5 papers you can read, or all 5 papers in one day, whatever way you want to budget your time. But do it simultaneously. You do literature review and then leave it aside, keep doing the coding for another 6 months or 1 year. Literature would be changing already quickly. So keep it as a practice that you constantly do review of literature. At the same time, improve your results, improve your analysis, come back to literature, see what's anything new coming up, somebody else has already published or not, based on what you are doing. So constant, revision of your ideas would be very much needed. The time when I was doing research, I have to go to the library to download the article, photocopy, whatever, scan or Xerox it and bring it back to my room and read it. But now you can access all of these PDFs online and all that advantage. The disadvantage of that is dissemination is so fast that people are really doing so fast. That is a disadvantage, unfortunately. But you are all up to speed with respect to doing research, quickly doing things, what I observed so far in all the tutorials. So it's very impressive. So with that quick thinking, quick mind, creative thinking, it comes, you will be very successful. Questions? We can also discuss during the break, but I'm just asking if you have any quick burning questions. If not, let me go to the next one, because this is an important part, the culmination of what we all want to do, right? I mean, we want to be known. Our thirst for recognition is always there in life. In whatever way we want to be recognized, or whatever way you think is going to be letting people know what you do, right? I think it depends on the universities. In our place, I think 7 years max. Then the program has to review what you are doing, and then they have to agree to extend it or reject the application for further research. But ideally speaking, one objective, 1 year, including publishing, would be very neat. Three objectives if you have, 3 papers if you produce as a part of your research dissertation, absolutely that's well and good. You will be absolutely fine. By the way, I just want to offer again, there are 2 Maaza, 2 Sprite. Help yourself if you want. Let me know. I want to finish this, and also it will lose its cold. So help yourself if you want to come here or get this from here. So okay, I'll leave it. Don't feel shy. And I also wanted to do one more thing. In the meantime, I have some Hershey chocolate. I think I counted the heads and I brought 1 per person, but if you like it, take more. But finish, yeah, I mean take, pass it down. I put it in the fridge to make sure that it does not melt. So it's coming all the way from Hershey, so it's very good. Okay, let me move on. Overall approach for writing the paper. You write with an objective of outlining it first. Okay, you want to say, I will have to publish, but I don't know how to write. Then just scribble only the outline. It may be half a page, it may be 1 page, but just get a sketchy headlines or outlines. Okay, and don't worry about how you write first, whether it should be orderly and polishing the sentence, 1 sentence all the time. No, that is not needed. Put all your thoughts. It could be a draft idea, but write freely, and then repeat, revise and edit critically, read aloud after you write the paper, have somebody to read your paper. So that will actually be the overall approach for writing a paper. Okay, and the fine tuning of that comes later, like removing redundancies, and of course the tense part, past tense or present tense, is very important. I'll come to that also later. Infinitives and modifiers, punctuations, abbreviations, footnotes, quotations and proper citations, these are all needed to reflect a good paper. But the larger goal is this. Okay, why do you want to publish? To leave a record of research which can be added to by others, right? That's one thing. To receive due recognition for ideas and results. To attract interest from others in the area of research. To receive expert feedback on results and ideas. For research, of course, you need recognition, right? When you write a paper and when somebody reads it and says, aha, it's a good paper, people have done it well, that means you get that recognition. They kind of approve what you do. Okay, approve what you do. That legitimacy is very important. It gives you confidence. They give you a pat on the back and say, oh yeah, wow, he's a good guy, he's a good girl, she is doing a very good job, that kind of an appreciation that you will have. Okay, why is it then, I mean, everybody not publishing? I mean, the goal is to publish, the goal is to really push hard, the goal is to really push hard to get yourself known, but why can't you succeed? What is the reason? What is the difficulty? The main reason is, of course, it is a skill. It is like a, a job of a director of a movie. You have a story to say. How you say, how you keep your audience attracted, glued to the seat for 2.5 hours, right? He thinks about it. That's the same thing. You are a director of a paper that you are trying to write. How would you say the story that really catches their attention and attracts their attention and keeps them reading your paper? So that's the way you would think. So it's a skill more than a formula that you try to come up with. That's why that skill does not come to all the people. Okay, and then experiments do not always work. You set out to do something, it fails, and then you lose your mind, you lose your heart, saying, oh, come on, I lost interest because my results are not looking good and I am not going to publish. Yeah, that happens, but does not mean that you should stop doing that, because you will redesign your experiment, rephrase your own questions, retest your hypothesis, with however way you phrase them, testable way, and then come up with the results that can be reported. Negative results are always not, I mean, that doesn't need to be discouraged to publish. Scientific journals have specific requirements, and if you are lazy to follow the formats, that's the first place where they cut you down. Don't do that. So that's not the ideal situation. And then, of course, what does participation in the international scientific community require? Basically, you want to be a member of science community that is spread all over the world. Somebody is working on drought, let's say. People are working on drought across the world, different continents, different places. But if you want to join their ranks, you need to know what they are doing, they need to know what you are doing, right? That's a global community. So you always think it's very easy to forget that there are 1,000 eyes that are watching you. It's very easy to forget. You are not in isolation. When you want to publish, when you want to communicate your results, you are saying all around the world, saying, hey, I am doing this, see my work. That's the message, right? It's not that I want to get a PhD degree or master's degree, I want to have a CV with the publication. No, no, you are doing that for sure. But the second objective, hidden objective here, is to share who you are to the community. That comes with responsibility, that comes with little more weight or burden on you. Don't get stressed out on that, but all I am saying is, if you have that burden on your shoulder, you will always try to think how impressive or how important my work can be, to impress others. To join that conversation, you need to already, have an idea about what they are doing, which I already mentioned. Okay, that means you need to understand cutting edge research of your scientific discipline. If you are doing what somebody else has done in Brazil, or somebody has done something in Australia and just following the same approach but doing it for India, probably okay, it falls in the middle, but it's not in the cutting edge for me. But for cutting edge means you propose a theory, you propose a method, you propose something that's more efficient for conducting a research on the topic that you chose. That makes a big case, right? And then, of course, accessing journal articles that I already mentioned, so we'll not worry about that. So now, when you write a paper and want to submit to a journal, you will think about writing a good paper, but you also have to think a set of questions that I am going to put here. First, of course, you think about the editor. He will just quickly review when you submit and say, good journals. I am talking about high impact journals the editor, before even forwarding the paper to the reviewers or choosing the reviewers, he or she will say whether or not it's a good paper. They do that. Science, Nature, when you want to publish, they will take a quick time to review, even to consider for sending it for review, right? Big ones. But within 10 days time, they say, oh yeah, now you are ready to go ahead and submit. In fact, the first one that you would submit may be a slightly condensed version, but then they'll say submit a full blown version, and then you will submit. But the other way around is, full paper you will submit to some top tier journals only, but they are going to still read the compliance checks of whatever formats that you followed, whether or not the results are interesting, whether or not they can send it out to the eminent experts on the topic. Is that worth it? Will that improve the standing of the journal? All kinds of thinking they will have, right? And of course, again, when you clear that path, that goes to the next step, right? And the next step is, of course, when it goes to the reviewer, they are going to look at what is new in your work, because these are considered to be experts in the field. They know what's happening around, so they will check whether or not your contribution is new and how significant it is for a problem that you are identifying, and is it suitable for the journal that you submit, is the organization acceptable for the paper, does the method and treatment of results conform to acceptable scientific standards, or is that a clumsy work? They are going to just look at, you cannot say I catch moon, but you don't say that where is the moon and how you caught the moon, all kinds of, you have to connect the dots. You have to really say what you have from the data and what you find out with your interpretations, and that way it makes it much more legitimate. Are all conclusions firmly based on the data? Is the length of the paper satisfactory? My formula is this for the length of the paper. You take it or leave it. Double spaced, 20 page, text only, no figures embedded in the text, no tables embedded in the text. But if you are able to write a 20 page double spaced, when it goes to the journal, reviews are done, then of course figures are separate files, but this 20 page becomes like at least about 8 to 9 pages of journal article text, the length of the paper. So because theirs is fine print, they are having a different formatting style. So when you are writing with a Word document, if you strictly follow this formula, this might easily take you to a good finish line. Are all illustrations required? Meaning there are so many figures, but do you need to really consider them to be useful? Are the figures and legends and tables are adequately detailed enough? Because sometimes I have seen papers, figure 1, study area, that's what they will say. I mean, obvious, they can interpret themselves, but don't you have to be a little more descriptive in telling study area of, or the map of the study area of X and Y location for conducting this and that. Elaborate. And in the same way, results figures, especially when you do correlation analysis, that's what they would say, nothing else. There will be 10 plots they will have, 10 legends, 10 colors. They say figure 4, correlation analysis. Yeah, it's for the first time outlining part, yes, that is the right way of telling this is correlation analysis. But then after that, you have to really explain, if you have multiple panels, A, B, C, D, what those represent, everything in detail, at least 2 or 3 lines if you have to have, for each figure caption. Same thing with tables, as descriptive as possible. That's very, very important. Okay, references. Don't leave out any references. Make sure that whatever paper you have referred are cited and give enough credit for them, because sometimes these authors are also reviewers for you, and they'll be upset, disappointed if you miss their papers without, or if you use their idea but not quoting their paper, those kinds of things. It's not plagiarism, it's ethical things, But then plagiarism is a totally different thing, which you are all familiar with. They are going to run it through when you submit. Plagiarism check is the number one thing they do at the editorial side and the first side, of the paper review. If they find out that there is a plagiarism, like ditto sentence that you cut and paste from one paper to your paper, you are gone, done. So don't do that. Rewriting, literature review part, or when we are talking about methodology, writing and rewriting in your own way of each of those statements that you make based on some other paper, should be from your side, from your thinking. This is the one I said yesterday also, aim rad. I didn't probably say aim rad, so I understand this way: abstract, introduction, results and discussions, methods, results and discussions, aim rad. That's what the paper talks about. So if you have all these 5 sections: abstract, aim, methodology, and of course sometimes background will come into play, but aim can also include background. If you have an extended introduction, it becomes an inclusive introduction and background part. But for simplicity right now, assume abstract, introduction, methodology, results and discussion, 5 sections. It takes about, you can split roughly between different sections: 2 page of intro, 2 page of methods, including study area, what kind of data you use, 2 to 3 pages. So you are already left with, did I say 2 pages for intro? It will be 3 to 4 pages for an extended 20 page length I am talking about. 3 to 4 pages of intro, 3 to 4 pages of methods, then you are left with 12 pages, okay. 7 to 8 pages of results and discussion part is very important. Last 1 page or 2 page could be for conclusion. So it accounts 20 page, excluding references. You may refer 100 papers. So divide like this, if you divide those 5 sections like that, it will be useful. Don't have an extended introduction like 7 or 8 pages and results only 1 or 2 pages. That does not work well, right? Your results is your results. You need to really pay attention. So you will start from writing results first. I will also talk about that later, but rough division is important. The whole structure is governed by this part, right? A, that is what I am saying here as the first thing. This is the first part where you will start. After finishing the research part that I mentioned before, right? We talked about conducting research with all the research questions, hypotheses, objectives, interpretations and all that. Come to the results that you got, check, can you pull out at least 3 major findings, 3 major things I can report from my results, and build around those a story, what these results tell you. So that's the most important thing. Does this result tell you something significant? Does this result attract any attention from others? If you are convinced that yes, it is, then that's where the nucleus, the core starts, section A as the results part, and then go to introduction. Even in introduction, I have this broader funnel, right? You start with broader statement. It could be climate change, it could be water security issues, food security issues, whatnot, broader level. And then the bottom part is the third one, where you will narrow down with your research questions, with your objectives of the paper, and what each section of the paper is actually going to be dealing with. You can introduce here in 3. But remember, the section 2 that I am talking about can come in the middle. Which one is that? Basically, you are trying to identify based on the previous introduction and what people have done and where the gap is. So you will fill this gap with identifying what the research gaps are in your field. So once you put that together, 3 to 4 pages is absolutely not difficult to put together, to come up with. Okay. So introduction, when it's done, methods, the easiest part, C section is the methods part. You will all do well writing that section because you know what you did, how you set the flow chart, how you start the process of analysis, coding or data analysis, and study area part, all of those things when you write straightforward. This does not require thinking other than memorizing the step by step thing of what you did. Logbook is very important. You know, when you do 6 months of work, what did you do first, what did you do second, you may not even remember. So keep a notebook or some kind of a document, step by step thing what you did would be helpful to fill that section. Just take that part, put a flow chart and explain what you did. It becomes your method section. Okay, and then the discussion part, D, this comes the last. We are last but one. So the discussion will have a close connection to results. Let's say you got 3 results and then discuss them at length with this discussion section. Sometimes results and discussion are together depending on the journal. Sometimes results is separate from discussion. So keep that in mind, that first part you will closely tie. Let's say result A, result number 1 is this. So how do you say that result 1 is going to be understood? What is your interpretation of this result? All of those things will come in discussion 1. Discussion 2 will be second result. Discussion 3 will be third result, and then diverge from there to here, the bottom portion. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to the world? How can you generalize these results? What are the implications of this work for others, for other topics? What are the left out topics here that can actually continue your future? Those kinds of things come in here. Once you do all that, you can come back to abstract part, the last side of this whole thing. So what you would do, I said yesterday, BPMRC, remember that 5-letter acronym: background, problem statement, methods, results and conclusion. BPMRC. Typically 250 words they require for any abstract, sometimes 300, sometimes 150. You have to check the journal format for that. Assume 250. You can write a sentence with 25 words. Okay, that is typically about 25 words for a sentence. So background, so what is the problem or what is the area that you are trying to work on, that is the background. 2 sentences you can write about what background you are dealing with. 2 sentences you can write about your problem. 4 sentences so far. Okay, and then methods, 2 sentences, what model you used, what analysis you conducted, 2 sentences. So 6 sentences, and then results would be 2 sentences, and then discussion would be 2 sentences, or conclusion would be 2 sentences. So 25 words each, 10 sentences, 250 words, very quick, and you will extract everything from the paper that you already wrote. You can easily do that. It's a template, it's a formula that you can follow. It's pretty easy, straightforward approach for writing an abstract once you got the remaining 19 pages of text. I think 20 in my opinion is long enough, but if you write longer than that, people lose interest. They say, hey, these people have not done a good job of not condensing the work. They are submitting their thesis to let us read. That is not the way, right? So they would say like that. So don't annoy them, right? Same way, don't be too short, because they'll say this guy is lazy to write something. He is expecting me to interpret everything. No, I need to be interpreted. I need to be knowing all these things. So there is a balance. That's what you should play. That's what you should think about. Like I said, writing a paper is like directing a movie. Keep that in mind. You are all directors. Yesterday I called you doctors because you are fixing the planet Earth, health check. Today I am saying you are directors. You are a combination of all, engineer, doctor, and also finally a director, because storytelling, it's a storytelling aspect now. You have done the work, how good you are in relaying that, right? That's very important. That's a nice skill to have. Engineers are not good communicators, period, obviously, but you can be a good communicator provided you practice, provided you do all the things that what I am suggesting here. Okay, title is very important for a given paper. Okay, good title always catches the attention, it creates lot of citations, makes you famous. Okay, I'll give you an example, one simple example here, right? Bird use of rice field strips of varying width in the Kanto plain of central Japan. You know, anybody can read this quickly and understand, okay, something is happening, right? So they want to say, so let's actually break it down how smart they were in defining this. Okay, the focus is on birds, the first thing you are able to see, and they are doing something birds to rice fields, that comes out from this title, right? And then they are also creating an interest, saying varying field width, you know, is having some connection to birds. So the width of the rice field strips was kind of varied to see how the birds are responding. So that is kind of interpreted in that title already. Okay, and then the research that took place in central Japan, the location. So you are able to see, you know, people who want to study about birds in the rice fields, they are attracted. Those who want to study what's the issue in central Japan, they are attracted. People who are trying to really understand how to connect the dots between strips, you know, field strips to the rice field strips to birds, people are able to see that. So they can even ask these questions beforehand. Why was the width of the strip an important variable? They are creating that interest by giving a right title. Did the width of the rice strips, field strips vary or affect the birds that use it? If so, which field strip width was used most by the field by the birds? And then how did the researchers measure bird use? You know, these kinds of questions, you know, with one simple title you can come up with all kinds of questions. And if you want a solution or answer to all these questions, you will read the paper. You don't even need to read the paper if you are not interested in answering or knowing the answers to these questions. So that is the level of importance you should give for the title. It should be informative, it should attract their attention, it should convey what you want to say, those kinds of things. Okay, results, like I said, it's a story. This is the first part of your directorial you know, experience, where you will start with a key message that begins first, and then of course as clearly connected story as possible. You know, you may have more than one result or one story to say, but how one story connects to the other one to another one, like 2 or 3 stories, that, you know, what is the take home message you have for a given topic. And then plan on identifying which data should be included, because that's a very meticulous job. You will develop 100 plots, 100 graphs, but how important they are, should we really use all of them, should we just minimize them or something like that, you know, or how to really take some of these plots interpretations into your discussion section. So that takes lot of planning, that takes lot of planning. In my time, I used to really print all the, you know, figures and put it on the table, and I used to stare at them saying, okay, I want to use this, I want to use this, the rest I want to keep it for discussion. You can do the same, but now with digital copy you can also do that, referring to your laptop more easily. Okay, again, I think I have a lot of details here, but you don't need to go through this, but I just, for the sake of interest, I am going to stop here and create, you know, of course, you know, the main part we discussed with this funnel, but there are other interesting stuff to discuss, but I will stop for now and see whether you have any questions at this point. Depending on that, I can continue with this, or I can stop, and you can also build on what I am talking about. Once you see the slides, you can see them easily. So you got the core of what I am talking about, writing a paper. It's an art, it's a skill that you can cultivate, it comes by practice. You need to have certain formula in mind, then connect the story. It comes out to be a full-blown 20-page article. 20-page your article, but it condenses to 10-page when it comes to the journal. Finally, 7 to 8 figures, 2 to 3 tables, 20-page text. That's good enough. You will have a nice article. But innovation, novelty, and how you fill the science gaps is the one constantly you should think about. I'm going to stop here for any further questions. Any questions? Okay, if not, oh sorry. Ah. Uh, I mean, affect in the sense you are already declaring it is, conveying the meaning that there is some impact on it, right? Yeah, but effect means you are still not knowing what effect you will have, what kind of impact the outcome is going to be. So that's the cursory difference that I can say, but I don't think it matters too much, but only when you are certain about certain things you can say affect, but otherwise effect is kind of a loosely connected word in my opinion. And I did not go through what the process would be for publishing in terms of submitting the journal articles. I think I mentioned that yesterday in the class or last part of the speech, which you can refer to. So that may be the same that I am going to have here. So don't worry about getting that repeated. So I am going to save your energy for not to repeat that again. Also, the other thing is, don't think too much. Put that down in writing every step of the way. Writing is a day-to-day practice. Don't put writing as the last part of your results or research. You know the study area, you know the problem, you know what you are going to do. Even you can start, I mean, I said you need to have good results, right? But while doing that, developing results, you can still spend 1 day, I mean 1 hour a day, every day, to write one paragraph. Start with one paragraph, then build it to one page. So it's pretty straightforward. Writing is an art, and if you just break it down like this, writing at least an hour every day will make your job easier, will make you stay in touch, with all this. Literature review you can easily do and combine, put that in your introduction later on. And when you are generating results, it doesn't mean you cannot build the other sections of the paper, right? Optimizing your time. As a graduate student, that is the #1 goal for everybody, to know how to manage your time, because unknowingly you will be going through the rabbit hole without even not knowing where it's going, how it's going to be ending. So time management, looking at how you would stop at one point and check what you have done, how can you write that down, what is interesting so far, how can you modify. It's a very constant iterative process, very back and forth kind of process that you should be following. So I'll stop here. Let's break for coffee, I think, and then come back here with Dr. Venkat Reddy continuing on the last section of social media. Okay, I think he stopped it. I was waiting, because if you just give me a second, since you did not come yesterday. Yeah, he did it. I saw. So I will show you, some of you asked my background, right? So I will show you in a map. It's not going to be boring, hopefully, but I started with that yesterday. This is a blah blah for my, he is running it again. Is he recording? No. I think it's about what I am, I don't need it. That's what I said, you don't need it.
Session where we will give a chance to speak, and then accordingly we can give our thing. Then our closing session will start. That is the plan. So before going to this lecture, I think one important thing is already everything we are uploading. Actually, I think we are following the drive. So drive will contain all the materials, whatever is there we are presenting, and it also contains, some of you are asking like a video lectures also. That all videos, actually it is like a open now, is YouTube lectures actually. in that we have the WhatsApp group, right? In that WhatsApp group only we'll post all those links actually. So anytime you can, anytime really you interested letter, you feel some interest is there, you want to check again, it is available. We will provide that one. You can anytime you can see. All GAN course. Previous ones there is means now there is almost like systematic. Now it is almost like everything like made like a systematic process, like a video recording, YouTube like a live this thing, and then they are all doing. But old I have doubt. But now all these things are available now. These links we will share anytime you can access. That's a very sometime it may be useful for you. That just information that I will WhatsApp group and we will make one that will continue, and YouTube whatever the drive that will continue. Whatever the material is there. After some days like we will make everything clean and then we will keep there. So you can download and keep also, that's what we are discussing. You can keep download, but not immediately, just to give, will take some time. We'll keep all those presentations already we are keeping, but any changes of those things we will make final, and then we can keep we'll post in the group. We can download and we can keep everything as a record. That will be useful for you at some time. Okay. So just to come to the topic, how we can use the social media information to the to understand this extreme events or analyzing or some modeling purpose. So just like before this starting like previous the last slide I think where the Sridhar shows, right, one you are seeing two videos, right, like one is like there is a submergence like a heavy flow in the roads, and then other one is like some heavy flood is like occurred. So that information is like where it is like that much fast came from to the, you can see the final source actually we are now we can see. Previously it is possible like that. So like that people also it is not possible to take like that, and there is no option to share like that, right? Now within few hours actually within the few hours only, even sometimes few minutes we can get wherever it is something is happening, right? Now how it is possible actually? Because of the so that's the social media. We have a lot of, you can say, the important, you can say, data repository or source, you can say. So to transmit the data or to see that same data, okay, that is for the communication purpose normally we will use. So the question is like that like all the last 9 days are we are saying like always some observed data you are saying, measurement you are saying, so many things you are saying, right? So many times there is so many, you can say, the dots will be there like where you can't get the observed data set actually. So for example flood inundation we are saying, somebody asking like there is submerged inundation we are saying like how that validate like once it comes. Bhavan also doing from some other source, we are also doing from some other source, how to correct actually or how to check those things. So how to verify, or like this many sources are available, right? Social media, different platforms are there. You can see so much data is evolving. That is something is possible to make the data, and we can use as some of the information which you can't get by conventional means. Any measurement of the instruments or like that can we use where we have the gap in modeling or validation or somewhere we are calibration. That is the point, main point. Okay. So just now I am saying like once again like you saw something like a SARS one video, right? There is like a one you are seeing some water is there, up to how much depth approximately the water is there. That is just send the video, right? Click that thing, but can you able to estimate some information that how much depth may be there water that particular point, particular time? Can you tell or not? So how you can tell? Two things are there, three ways are there, right? In that water is there, some railing is there, right? And then the bus is you can say the going actually. So can you make with these three things, that is like a indirect information they are there, can you make it into some tangible information from that? That is like axle, like you see exactly the tire, you see that thing up is coming there, that is like it will easily know that what is the normal this thing height, and that railing also there is a standard heights will be there like railings, that will all give it from that video. Suppose somebody posted or sometime given at that point of time, that particular place, that much is the water depth. That is like at least like instead of having nothing, so we have some information, right? Maybe plus or minus even 1 or 2 centimeters or even like 20 centimeters like that, but still it is a tangible valuable information which is nowhere to something, nothing to something, that's what is the thing. So can we see that type of things where we can use? So it is like a, just like I said, like what are the normal we say marker means what is the thing, and then of course what are the data, and of course really how we can use simple like of course we are not like other things extensive study, but we made a simple, one of our MTech student they are like said that one, that aspect I will show you. But it is a lot of potential, it is simple to, you can say means do that one, but of course like a lot of to see that one, but it is like a lot of background work has to be done to convert that into a just like a data to a tangible data, useful data actually, that's the only thing. So here it is like a marker means is like a some you can say the thing like a, they will have a lot of things like a platforms are there, right? So you can see the platforms like a so many like a now there is a Twitter and then Facebook or Instagram, right? So there may so many platforms like that, so many other may be there actually. So here most of these you can say platforms people will go on communicate. One is like a one-to-one communication may be there, or the public communication like sometime like a group can able to see. Sometimes everybody can see, like Twitter means like something is there means lot of times it is like a open, like anybody can see. Okay, so that type of platforms are there. So there that we can say the go on, we can say the providing the information from to these platforms. Can we connect that to the any of the extreme events, anything, but that too we will see for our topic, right? So this ideologic extremes. So ideologic extremes where this type of social media platform maybe really make something, anything like a droughts, but it is long term, but the post will be there, but okay, it will give some information. But more it is useful when they anything like a just now short right, that video flash floods or something is event is occurring, somebody want like help or something you need to do some real time forecasting, something you have to do real time, something has to be done, that time this type of things are will give the where other communication may fail, chance is there, right? All your instrumentation or those things may not work or other things to connect to people other may fail actually, but there is a chance that this type of things may work actually, that is the place where we can able to use this as a other data source, additional you can say the reliable data source. Okay, so here this is the main thing, like the data will be like we will see one more slide actually more clear, like it will be form of simple like a test. Okay, possible, right? So like a so like a just like a photograph image. So this one we can able to use as a one, we can say the data, from that we can derive the information what we want. Suppose we want depth, you want like area extent, you want to see the as a geographical information, those things we can derive. We will see how that be possible. So here mainly they will enhance the our you can say traditional data source, right? It is a complement. You may have traditionally so many data like we are having all the last 8-9 days we are discussing, right? Traditionally there, but these things a lot of they will complement actually, they will make you to more understand like more data where we are missing the things, links that where we can get this one. Okay, so here especially the you can say extreme events, like it's not only the event of course forecasting, like a management also, like that's where it is evaluating as important resource actually. So it's like of course we want data, that thing will get, but it's not only that one, like a management, for example, so rescue operation they will carry out right during the flood yesterday only. So anything like it is always getting right, like then you immediately they can make out the place where really the something is there, they can go on check like any post is coming from any place where they need help actually, that they can now geofence, right? Then can see look for the all the possible things which are coming from that area only where somebody really help required actually. Okay, so actually that is what is the called actually the you can see nowadays like even government agencies, right? So they will not go for a conventional way like so they will go for the you can say the keep some you can say public handles actually, social media handles like that you can post there also. Okay, so they are saying that one is like to make the help actually, that other people should not get panic, right? They will come for a government route like that thing, they will only inform to the respective people, they will come and handle. Otherwise to know the something is happening, right, that they will go by this handles. That way it is possible. And of course the main thing is something, this is the important thing. So here unstructured crowdsourced means whenever we post means we will not bother any of the things, right? Whatever, for example test means test will make something like sometimes you see it contain a lot of code will be there, right? You say like sometimes you will use code words, right? Not like even sometimes full test you will not use, right? So those need to be all unstructured actually, you need to have all the meanings for those things. And it is like crowdsourced coming from different levels, like for example one I am making like suppose you know something about floods means we will write one way, normal conventional public, right, they will write some different way, right? We need to bring into a common meaning of those things. So like they will make a complete text list of the things what the common people will use in a particular area, even local language also, for example put them into equivalent words to relate to our subject. So what is meant by the you can say that person is saying, and it is a flood, they may say different right, that thing, like a value they say that they may see in feet, they may say, so they may say like it is coming up to the knee, or like a water, they coming chest like that, they will say like a water levels. So the all things we need to convert into the things which are reliable for as a data set actually. So that is the actually the main thing actually. So this will be like a valuable information from here to here. This is the place where the lot of work is required. Either computer science person will do, or as a subject expert we can do. Lot of things can be done here. Like a area where really that can be useful as converted as useful data set. So here it is like a, that's what I am telling. So it is like a information is a pure text may be there. Okay. So that has to be converted into values, text to values. I told right now they will say like a water is this area so and so water is overflowing. This may be like a, this much depth they may say as a normal text. That we need to convert into value. And video clips, just now sir shown right, that is exactly the best example. It will give a lot of we can say the information for us where we can use. We know the place, we know the you can say the approximate depth, those things actually. And of course voice messages. This is like a little you can say different, even though we don't have anything also like only voice we need to make, but also sometimes local language, there the conversion is there. Sometimes this is like a more, even nothing is there actually, only expression may be there. That has to like of course it is not so easy, but it is not, we will not directly convert into any value, but still that will give a lot of things. Suppose even we can't have a time to make the zone test right, we can expression will tell so many things at that time. That will like some, is especially for not for our maybe like a data conversion, those things like especially for disaster handling management, those things will be there. For them it is important, the expression they are keeping, something they are in the serious problem like that, they may come and rescue. That is a different thing. So here we need to convert that into something like a two things will be there here. Any like a four things right, previously like a voice, video and text and those things right. Four has to convert into the for us like a important we can say three informations for us. Okay, four if we can say. What is that four information normally we are interested actually? So one is like a especially the they send main like our extreme events, main important thing is what actually? What is the important information we need as a you are as a modeler or as a disaster manager actually, for example, so this thing, what information you are required? Huh? What is that one? Location. Location that like where that particular is originating, like maybe message or those things, that is very important. We need to based on there all the things we need to get that one that where that is originated. X, Y and maybe the Z like a, what is the like I am saying like other value, and T, time is also important. Event like a, that is called timestamp. So every message, that is the main thing what you have to know is everything has a timestamp will be there. Like a posted like images just now sir showed right. Those things a timestamp will be there when that particular image is taken or that thing they will mention actually. Or it is there we can in the somebody we are posting right, we see like message is forwarding right, to what time we are forwarded right. Same thing. That will help us when it is taken actually. That's all like a we need to convert that into four things. X, Y, Z, T. And something like a one more additional one is called, these are the location thing right, location and time. Fourth one is like a after this X, Y, Z, T there is a attributes, characteristics, like a flood means maybe which area it is flooded, what is the flood we can say characteristic like a high flood, very flood, so much area is there like that, they can go on right in the test right, that we will take as a characteristics. So X, Y, Z that is like a location information and other is attributes. Then it become what information? Geospatial information. That's what we can take it to the platform and there we can go and analyze. Then it will give to your models you want to, you can give, or you want disaster risk management you want to do, you can do anything you can do. So now you are getting right, any media it is coming, social media thing. So first you do this one, convert them into the spatial domain, temporal domain and attribute information. Then start using for the, you can say the what are the model, for example you are a modeler, you want to give model as a give as a model data. Somebody disaster risk means you can give as per their requirement. Put in a geospatial domain, then make it as a required information. Okay. So here we can make some these things like a from the text to this thing to geospatial. It's not a straightforward. We need to do some programming conversion. That is all like a, that's what itself is a one different you can say domain where we need to do conversion has to be done through programming languages. Like how we can done like for example you are saying text, what is the equivalent meaning of that one as a geospatial thing. Okay. Normally you take photo right at one place. So if you open the photo properties, what will be there? One of the property lat long will be there. Like you will write like one suppose you are visiting Warangal right, you go back after your place, you will get one email from Gmail right. This is your this month your all the places you visited. How that is you are getting? There is every photo, there is a location will be there. That is the only thing it will catch, that one. So wherever you took photo, that will be location will be stored. That is sent to the, since you are all storing in that Google Photos, right? Everything stamp and accordingly it will keep in the positions. That all things, it will not directly, you are not saying, automatically system will take, okay, this person is posting from this plate, lat longitudes, that will take out. So that you have to write a code. So those all things we can make, and these are the two important things once again come into picture. NLP, natural language processing. So means whatever we tell, so what is the mean per computer and what is any valuable information, that thing all we will try to get that one. Okay. So converting into the whatever you tested to the what exactly the meaning, something like a useful for us. And of course our machine learning algorithms will train. Anybody come like a hundred, now you see it's not so straightforward. For example, this room is there, I will get how many images actually, how many, suppose I ask like a send one, you can say one WhatsApp message or what we can say, especially the Twitter, send messages means 30, I will get 30 or 40. So like that you, like in one you can see this whole campus, thousands will be there, right? In that thousands, we don't want all those things. They are all like you are discussing with your friend something, that's a different. But something is issue related to our topic actually, extreme event. So that is called actually filtration. Hundreds and thousands of, you can say the charts will go and all things will there. You catch with the few important aspects. Then you will do that all these things. For that all the things are useful actually. Machine learning will train. Somebody say something like a flood, disaster, like that to go on test it there. You catch that particular whatever the you can say message only. Remaining all it will filter out. Okay. So here same like geo processing tools will be there, right? After we are getting geospatial, right? There onwards our job, right? Like how much area extent is going, depth, all things we will make some processing tools and we will generate the as a layer actually. Means it is giving as a test something, finally it will appear like a geospatial map. That is our main goal any of these handling the events. Okay. So just like I said, like we are just like a started this one and it as it is very important, we thought like how really we can make use of this one. So here the main thing is flood risk actually, the how to assess with the social media markers, like especially we took the Twitter as the one of the things. So it is actually one of the student project actually, that GHMC. So they have the ArcGIS one, you can see the software where they have a lot of, you can say the server. So there are like a just now sir showed like a flood, right? Same issue, like they want to see the flood risk assessment. So they have everything like all infrastructure is there, but anytime an emergency it always a problem actually. So they want to analyze like what are the risk areas by looking through the conventional they will know, but there is a lot of other ways we can come to know which are prominently risk areas. You tell me for example through the social media you can say the messages, how we can tell a particular area is having more issue with some particular thing, especially like a flood, how we can tell? Yeah, or drainage issue, how we will tell me? More hashtags and more only, like you say like something, somebody say that this is like a overflow, like 100 people will once again say that they will say like a tick or they say like this, right? Means there is severe problem is there. Means like this year like what we did is like several years like which are the years like where the monsoon is there and then the this will come, right? So all things you analyze means you will come to know there is something there is lot of information coming from one place only. Means what? That is the place where is something wrong is there, means like whether the particular drainage. So one particular big drainage is there, all the hashtags whatever you say that posts are coming from that area. Means that area is every time there is like every year same place the same time same like a monsoon only, so many hashtags or whatever the posts are coming. Means what? That is the place there is a lot of issue there. That way we can able to analyze. Just like you see that one, what exactly the thing actually. Of course these are the, so based on this one we are making into finally the, I can say where the mere chance of more flood risk like that actually. So it is like a basically of course we use the as the, it is like she is worked as a part of the project there and then just here also. So that is usually direct ArcGIS only. So here this is the GHMC, you can see the area like where the Hyderabad you can say Metro Water Works like a sewerage board, they have the complete area under the jurisdiction. So this is the complete area where the you can see the, this particular thing is studied case. So here it is like a interesting like every day we are seeing other things, right? So all these things, but today like you see this is the additional thing. So like a Twitter data sets, it's very important actually. normally you will not get, right? Twitter we can't see old data sets and those things. For example, I want all Hyderabad people means I will not get, that's not a thing. There is a some more thing is there background, that is called actually API. So we need to that is something called, we need to we could take a, you can say we do not take a licensing thing, means they will give only for the, you have to ask actually. So they will provide licensing, maybe sometimes cost will be there, and that is like you have to use, you have to give all document that this is data, right, should not use for any other purpose. That type of things you make me, then accordingly they will provide. Sometimes they will give for government agencies, since this is like a very important for them, they will provide for them the data set. So we can use from their handle, means they will give a complete this is called API, this is important, not conventional thing. And API they will use the anybody can't use actually, that's once again there is a, so conventionally and then only for some organizations they will give, individuals, organizations, according to we can make. So they will give in that case, you see that's what I am telling. So I think this is some terminology related to the computer science terminology actually. So you see like a JSON it is called actually. So JSON means JavaScript object notation. It is like a one terminology where the, you can say JavaScript you will use, right? Anything data is there, you can represent with this particular thing. Okay. Normally transfer data we have to make, right? We can do with this one. But that will be there, right? As anybody send the, you can say any message, right? So you see this is the May, June, July, August. This is one thing. Same. This is the place normally the flooding, you can say time or issues. Remaining season will not be much issue. Okay. So this is like a format is the, you are getting anybody text means normally X means like whatever the Twitter, they will not bother about where our geospatial we require actually. So they will give only their background storage will be like this. But what we are interested in, we have to spatial, we have to convert, then only we can do the spatial thing. So we need to convert that into GeoJSON. So there is always a lot of, we can say codes are available to convert something from JSON to GeoJSON. So here these are the, you can say of course different other layers like a boundaries, all the things, shape files, water, these are all like a mandal wise. So these are the important data sets, and this is the information you see interesting like a for common public people it will see like this, right? We will see whenever we say like we will post like a Twitter, we will see like a, there is like a, you see, so they will lot of messages you say like this is the, like they are saying, right? That's all. But there is something like a, that will give a lot of information for us. That's what is the, if you could say background. So it is like a something, it is like a, you see this person, this keeping a post of photo means that is the, you can say giving two important things for us. You see this one, right? Yes or no? And that person is he or she may be the keeping some photo, right? So they are giving some more information. They are that time stamp will be there, date that is there, right? It is all like a called actually JSON. So it is all the information will be there like a further things. So this is convert. This will not have much information for us. Still, it is a JSON means you are converting into GeoJSON, right? So you are converting same thing. This all the information into the lat long to this format. I think some of you are working JS means you may know. But whatever the data which is like a normally our JS software we are using, same thing you want to keep in the website, like web map you want to see, we have to convert into GeoJSON. Okay, means you are converting into geospatial format, that one, that where the all this information converting in different format. You have to rewrite this one. Then automatically what will happen? Same thing whatever you are seeing here, this post, right? Now it will come on the map, like a, for the person where that particular person posted the, right? We can make like this. This is one person post, like hundreds and thousands they will keep, right? First thing is filtering. Filter means like the hashtag or something you are saying, right? Only like a overflow. That only all the hundreds and thousands filtered with those things. Those things will be checked like this. Those things will be converted. So if you do like that, so that is the, you can say here. This is the way how to do all this conversion, and then we will show the image also. It is like a, I said like this is like ArcGIS. Normally it is not open source. It is like a, since they have the GHMC that is already there with that them. So accordingly it is the student is worked with those things. This conversion we can do outside, but later it will come into JS portal where it is visible actually. So with this data they are building like a dashboards. So like that who are the maintenance people will be there, right? They will come to know all the issues where the issues are there, and they can go on handle actually. So here this is the like a converting this into the data, like it, these are all like a pulling from API, this whatever is the, this one filtering, then conversion. So this is a collection, so processing and giving to data, and then in between anything is there. Automation means you can't go and do image by like a one by one, right? You can do this one actually. like hundreds means you can do automation. Okay. So you see, now you see, previously they are, what is the thing actually, previously they are the text, you can say the messages, right? Now they are converting into geospatial things, right? This will give you a lot of like you see tweets in the 2021, 23, like that. And you see the colors are given, like a multiple tweets are coming from same, that will give the, you see these are all like information given actually. Frequency of occurrence 2 times, 3 times, like that, that is a thing. You see here. So that like where the, you can see this color, more color thick means there is a, like of course each year the things, same area more number of tweets are coming means more problem. Now it is like a converted into our problem, like a geospatial things. Now we can able to address. That's the thing. So like is like called actually the something called heat map. So based on those number of tweets, right, we can convert this. You see what is this one? It says that more frequency there means there may be a more problem there. So it's like a color, thick color means there is a more frequency, there is a lot of, you can see this one. Then to the out back at this side there is no much, and here there is no other issues. It's like that. Okay. So then now you have the this Hyderabad, right? We can make this type of this drainage, right? Now what you can do, you can superimpose the tweets over this drainage map. Then we'll come to know which area, like a watershed. For example, these are the like a small basins actually we can make. Like you said, like Hyderabad, whole water will not go in one direction, right? Different direction it will flow, right? So we can superimpose this one. You can something like this. So you see, it is converted into like a different sub-basins. You see here, and these are all like a based on that heat maps, those things, right? So like a, based on the sub-basins, these are sub-basins based on that this thing. So now we can keep them into different colors. So you see like a where the more number of, you see for example more number of tweets we saw right previously, coming more means it is getting a high rank. It's like that actually. Means every time that area is to be addressed. Means now we are getting rainy season is coming, or like a flood you are forecasting means we have to be careful about that area. It's like that. So here previous one is by the overflow points, that is like a that is getting by the this what we can call as there is like a, they are giving this information, right? So now, so inundation points, so you can make the this one like a, how the inundation will come actually. So this is like a depending upon the zones based on the inundation, and you see here rainfall data also. So we have the rainfall map is there, and these tweets are coming. Then we will superimpose the things based on the that one same areas whether they are the, you see high density rainfall, high rainfall overflow, like that you can see, right? So this is like a priority zone based on this one. Now you see three things if we combine, like watershed area, how much is there, like a different area square kilometer, and what is the priority ranking. So you see that there is like a area, it will tell that where we will get a more, you can say the time like a out of this rainfall, overflow, inundation, which one is the, I can say almost they are falling in the same track or not. Okay. So here this is like a thing, like you see like a, for example one area getting the priority, you see almost everything is a priority in like whether you do by rainfall by this thing same priority, your Twitter is giving same priority, and this is the same priority means yes, that is a critical area. Your ranks are not matching, you see this is a different rank and this is a different rank, then it is not coming correct. Means whatever you are getting by geospatial, right, you are superimposing with our conventional data set, we are proving that whether the same data we are coming or not. All three are matching means then we say that this is like a maximum, it is like a getting correct, it's like that. So it's like a liberal, like whatever we see, or we are make a maximum thing, that's accordingly we can prove. So this will give us the finally important thing actually, vulnerability zones, like which really is vulnerable for the condom is. You see from the tweets we could able to make with all the conventional thing, we prove that which one is having the problem. So this will give a vulnerable means 1 means like a more vulnerable, 2 like that, 11 means like a less, it's all go like that actually. So this same thing they will keep in the this thing. So then this will help them to whenever the tweets are coming, right, they can able to go and check like a where vulnerable area is matching and tweet is matching means there is something we need to make address this one. This is like a, they will make like a dashboards. Okay. So this is all like a picking the drainage also to see that comparing with that tweets actually, channel and then tweets. Okay, you see channel side the how the tweets are coming, we keep both means that will give the overflow things, and then which drainage, then which watershed we can accordingly address that one. So it will also give the like a number of tweets like that. Okay. So it is all like a, just like I said, right, this is like a, you use the conventional plus tweets, so converting that to valuable information so that we can able to do really something whether really tangible or not, or problem is occurring or not. It's like a made like a, we can make a study what is already happened and we make a real time also to address the issue. That way it is right actually this thing, and it is like whatever is developed it is easily extendable for other zones. So now we got the clue, right? So how really something can be done with the data set? Yeah, these are the, you can say the all the informations. So this is like a now, that's all. So you got right the way, but how really can something of the simple information you are sending can be converted into geospatial and it can be used. So computer science, some of the groups they are working on these things. Of course, especially geospatial people who are working on these type of things, or really it can be used. So, so any questions? No, yeah. Malakpur, that's like a where the like a thing is like a small heavy rainfall is coming and there is no much drainage to flow. There the more problem will come. That's where the things will come. So treats will help us to like a more people are also coming. What we can call they are also asking question means that area is still the problem is not addressed. It's like that. Hmm? Solution means it's like a real time, right? What is like issues are coming, they have to see physically, they have to see clearance, anything is there. That Hydra, that things they will do, right? Clearing anything they are occupying, those things, all they will do actually. Yeah. So it's correct only, right? At other, you can easily prove that one actually, that's what is the thing. So how we can convert quickly, just one of you can tell. So it contains something like a photograph means lat longitude will be there, timestamp will be there. So that is like a information that we can convert. Then tell me this one, yes or no? Yes, it is reliable, but only thing is you do a lot of homework you have to do. Actually, otherwise you can't make it that directly you can't use. Just somebody said like a flat means heavy means you can't directly use that one. Lot of exercise like a so many tweets has to come from the same place. So many cross checks you have to make. Like that you have to prove beyond the doubt that is the depth like that. That's so many things has to be done. Useful for forecast? Yes or no? Definitely useful actually. We can communicate like a multiple things you can combine and we can use. Yeah, I said like this is a seriously one of the student worked actually just last year. So she concluded actually. So that like a they are implementing on the GHMC website. That is like their own website actually. So that is the thing. Yeah, that's all for the actually the what we today's thing. Done with all the things now. So whatever is the planned, I think last 10 days. So many things we could do like almost like we are studying and outside also occurring the some of the extreme events we are connecting and visiting. So everything is a connecting dots actually. Okay, we will stop at this point and we will move for the next one by one things. Are there two things are there important things. One is you have to give the feedback where we will record that one. That is like everybody you speak no problem where you are there and what is the you learnt or what is the how it is useful maybe once you go back to your place. Okay. Then later we will go to the valedictory session like within half an hour 45 minutes we will distribute our certificates and then we will close the things. Okay. So that thing, and especially you are going back and you took your receipt for the your fee payment, that is already we gave earlier only, and remaining any all the things you clear out the things in the respective places. And hostels means like they are asking us to take and then to give back. Hmm. 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 Yeah. So you can have the means like hostel like they gave the complete like the information like what how much to pay, how much to pay, okay? That we can be in touch with Ishwaran, then you can do that one. So what are the receipts you want, we will provide that one. You take that one, that may be useful for your reimbursement, anything is there. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. So you try to take whatever the all the possible everything like receipts everything now itself. If anything you miss also don't worry, we will always possible we can send those things to you. But always this is the best thing. Now only you take at everything clear and so that we can leave the things here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we can anything you want to tell. Yeah, then now we can stop for the video recording before going for the next thing.
This research and research scholars who are present here. A very good afternoon to all of you. Myself is M. Mohan Raju. Currently I am working as Assistant Executive Engineer in the Department of Irrigation and Command Area Development, Government of Telangana. And also currently I am pursuing my PhD on an external mode from the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Hyderabad. I am very happy and it's my pleasure to have few words regarding this workshop, GN course. To start with, I am a little bit scared about using the word flood extremes, sometimes climate change. I used to escape from this word frequently. As in my parent department, we used to talk on climate change. As and when the word comes, I used to escape from that environment because it is something like a complex dynamics. I am not that much aware and I am afraid of that word. I used to think only the flood after having all the components. The last word, flood, how to operate the dam, how to work with the flood, how to work in the dam. I used to look after those things only. See, after coming over here, this course, particularly this GYAN course, gave me some confidence. I can also touch, I can also be with the word. So that confidence I got. This is a threshold for me to work further, to be with the word climate change. That is one thing I received from here. The second thing is that the presentations, the themes that are organized here, they are each and every event, it is something like understandable for everyone who participated here and understandable for everyone. That is the second thing I observed. The third thing, that is the language of our parent department, that is irrigation department, is flood estimation. Okay, there is HECRAS. This is the second time I am coming over here and working with HECRAS. Okay, even my department people also, they are giving some trainings on HECRAS. But frequently I used to visit this website of NIT Warangal. I used to be in touch with the activities of Department of Civil Engineering at NIT Warangal. So in that sense, I tried once again to be the part of this GYAN course and to learn something about HECRAS. This is the third thing I observed. I got some idea and the threshold to work further and to incorporate all these activities, to inculcate all these activities in my regular work. Yeah, that is the third thing. Finally, during the hands-on session and tutorials, the help received from the research scholars, it is amazing. Really, I thank them heartfully. Finally, wholeheartedly, on behalf of the participants of GYAN course, we thank the professor the professor Venkatamana sir, who came all the way from Virginia Tech to NIT Warangal, who guided us to move further in our research and research activities. Wholeheartedly, thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Okay, with this, I'll end. Thank you all.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Sheikh Muhammad Imran. Currently, I'm working as Associate HOD at Methodist College of Engineering and Technology and also a guest faculty at Usmania University. I'm pursuing my PhD from NIT Andhra Pradesh. My area of research is the same as per the title, impact of climate extremes on urban flooding, climate change on urban flooding. When I got to know regarding this opportunity of GYAN from my guide, I recently attended 2 or 3 GYAN courses, but I thought, okay, I can go and I will get little knowledge regarding the extreme climate change conditions and all those stuff, because I am from a remote sensing background. I have been practicing the remote sensing from the past 6 years. I'm very new to hydrology. I have never worked on hydrology and all those things. But frankly speaking, the course is meticulously designed and it is well established from basics to hands-on. So whatever we are learning in the morning sessions, that little bit I tried my best to connect in the afternoon sessions to connect with the dots. And thanks to Venkatramana Sridhar sir and Venkat Reddy sir for organizing such a beautiful session to give knowledge on amateur learners like me on the hydrology, so that I'm very confident to connect these hydrology aspects with remote sensing to give something best research output for the society. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I won't take much time. My name is Satyanarayan Swami. I am from IIT Hyderabad, pursuing my masters in hydraulics and water resource engineering. And my guide was Dr. R. Maheshwaran. Actually, before coming to the course, I was very excited towards HACRAS and HHMS. I mean, why I came here? Because my area of interest is hydrodynamic modeling. So I wanted to learn this HACRAS and HMS, which is very much useful to me. But after coming here, I got a new idea about how climate extremes and all will be affecting these different scenarios. I appreciate the course and the course structure, which is well designed, and I appreciate the efforts by the Venkatramana Sridhar sir and Venkat Reddy sir. And thank you everyone for being like a family. And thank you, NIT Warangal.
Myself, Dr. Vinod. I'm from Henses, Trivandrum. So currently, I'm working on hydroclimatic extremes. So I have some new idea in this course, especially from HECRAS, HECHMS, these things under. So in real time, how we can apply and which study area. So this is an eye-opening session for me. So I can proceed next level of my research. First, thanks to Venkatramana Sridhar sir and Venkat Reddy sir. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Scientist Worker. Basically, I belong to Kolkata, West Bengal. Now I'm pursuing PhD from Banaras University. I'm very thankful to my supervisor who got this opportunity to attend in standard 10 days GAN course program. I got to learn here about floods, droughts, and different hydrological extremes, how to manage them efficiently and effectively. During this course, I learned about different models like HECRAS, HECHMS, and SWOT model. As well as I learned Python and Google Earth Engine, how to manage them effectively, different type of extremes like rainfall extremes, climate related extremes. And during this course, a special part was to visit different places like NRSC and inquiries, as well as we went to the different CWC gauge station and we got to learn how this theoretical knowledge connect in our practical applications. And I also thank to our Professor Sridhar sir, who is an international faculty, who brings a lot of exposure and insight on on, on, on different worldwide. And I also thank to Professor Reddy sir, who manage and encourage us to attend this course, as well as I also thank to everybody who manage this course efficiently and effectively. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Archita Malik, and I'm from IIT Roorkee, currently pursuing my PhD in disaster mitigation and management. But I come from a computational background, so this is my first GYAN course which I took, and I'm extremely happy that I enrolled for it because this offered me much more than I had expected. So, starting from lectures to field visits, organization visits, and practical sessions, this was something of really great help to me. And I love the way how the faculty brought us at par with all levels of education that we are in, be it UG or masters or PhD. So, since I don't come from a geography background, I used to think that these are topics that I would not understand, but it would be something advanced. But it was made very basic, and the way it was built, the way the course was constructed, as well as the practical sessions that were held, it was everyone was taken great care of. Everyone was made sure that they did the practicals. So I think overall it was a great experience for me, and thank you to both faculty and thank you NIT Warrangal for giving me this opportunity to participate in this course. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm Bias Day from Jadavpur University. I'm currently pursuing my PhD in geography. So, to begin with, actually, this is my first GYAN course. So, before coming here, actually, I was quite skeptical about the fact that because my previous experiences of workshops were not really well. So I thought this will be an ordinary session where I used to learn very basic techniques and all, very basic introduction of all the hydrological extremes and all. But after coming here, after interacting with all of you, especially Professor Reddy sir and also Professor Sridhar sir, especially Professor Sridhar sir, because I remember the first day I came 1 day late. So on the day one, I remember sir actually came to me, and after seeing my laptop, which is actually a very old edition laptop, he asked me, "You can actually use my laptop, yes." So that was a really incredible experience for me, and I just couldn't expect this kind of a gesture from a sir like you. So, sir, really thankful, and sir, Reddy sir, I mean, the way you taught every day, and also Sridhar sir, you made it so easy for us to understand. Of course, we are from a geography background, but how you actually taught the very basic things, and also the state of the art research that is taking place at this time in the cases of hydrological extremes, how you made it visually actually interesting with those videos and all. I mean, it is truly an extremely incredible experience. And lastly, I want to be thankful to all the scholars like Athar, who is sitting just there, and also Arafat, Rafi sir, ma'am, and everybody. I mean, uh, it wouldn't have been possible without you all. The hands-on experience which we obtain here, it wouldn't have been possible without you all. So thank you. This would have been really memorable for me till days. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rakesh Kumar, and currently I'm doing my PhD from Central University of Rajasthan. This was my second GAN course, but the NIT Warangal conducted it very beautifully. Its structures theoretical lectures, its hands-on practice, and field trips was amazing. And especially, it gave me a new food of thought for my research, that how I can connect it to my research. Special thanks to Reddy sir and Siddhar sir. Their energy um, motivate us, that say they taught us like their own students. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, all. I am Arsha. I'm pursuing final year BTech from PKM College, Kollam. It was our advisor, Dr. Adar sir, who made us know about this course, and it was late. We were late to know about this course, and we were able to easily enroll, and the registration was so smooth. First of all, we thank for that. And once I attended the class, it was a little bit concerning that most of the people here are professors, PhD scholars, and MTech students, which made us we weren't much sure about our topic. We were doing project in bioclimatic indices. Then when the classes started, we realized that how teachers, how faculties took the class from the very basic, so everyone could follow. The classes were really good. The hands-on sections were really helpful. Most of the softwares was introduced. We were new to most of the softwares, and it was really helpful. But we came to know about the software, but we have a lot to go in order to use those softwares. And I thank everyone for organizing this program and being. I'm thankful for being able to attend this program. Thank you.
session. So anybody want to give these things? So now we can come on, then quickly we can give you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Soumik Mahatro from West Bengal. Currently, I am doing my PhD in Landscape Ecology Laboratory, Department of Geography, and I am also a GRF of Computer Science and STARS Laboratory, Computer Science and Engineering Department in Jadavpur University. So, firstly, I would like to thank Reddy sir and Professor Siddharth sir for organizing and arranging and coordinating this GN course, GAN course, what it says. And it was a beautiful experience for me to join, as it is my first GAN course. And NIT Warangal was like a home for me for last 10 days. And all thanks to the scholars and MTech students who help us and tolerate us for last these days. So as a geography background and GIS background student, we are accustomed with geospatial applications like ARC, Q, ADAS or NP software with R and G. But how we can integrate the Python and all these were not touched by us. So it was an eye-opener for us and add a new spectrum for our academic studies. And it was a really great experience for me also. So thank you.
Very good afternoon, respected sir. My name is Raju Khude, and I am pursuing my PhD from ICR IRA Delhi. And currently, I am working on hydrological modeling assessment and development of conjective strategies on one of the river basin in Jharkhand. I have been known NIT Warangal since 2015, as I was during my BTech days, sir. There was a faculty from NIT Warangal. She was quite spark. She has a potential, a better teacher, and I was known with the name NIT Warangal. I have the wish to visit the institute very far from longer days. This GIAN program given me the opportunity to attend this session and to meet the environment of this highly experienced person, Dr. Sridhara and Dr. Reddy. And thankful all of you to making these 10 days happier, enjoyable and insightful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very warm good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Priyanshu Nathavat from PhD scholar from University of Mumbai. My supervisor is Dr. Pandurang Chaudhary, and I have been pursuing my specialization in hydrology. I have just started my PhD. So I would like to start with telling that how this session was beautifully planned, a 10-day session, including the theory lectures as well as the practical sessions wherein field studies were also involved. And I would like to say that huge respect to Reddy sir for organizing this beautifully, for being so sweet to understand the things at the field and then make us understand with his viewpoints. I also said that to him. And then the coordinators who have been really helpful in the practical sessions, looking step by step if we are on the same page. Huge respect, and we are so happy for the foreign faculty with us, Dr. Sridhar sir. He has been really helpful in providing the insights how we can pursue our research further, has broadened our perspectives of thinking in research and how we can take it further directions. And he has put really a lot of efforts, wherein we can see that how in small breaks he have never been completely devoid of the space of connections. He has been explaining us how we can pursue our research in different specializations, and always he is very helpful in connecting and putting his contacts that you can contact me for this. I'll be putting my insights into that. So obviously we can see that how I will be liking to connect it with his recent presentation wherein he said that how research in the past was comparatively devoid of the digital tools, but we can also see in both of them skills that how they have been coming from an era devoid of digital tools, wherein I like to say that they had hands-on experience with the data, with the collections of informations, and how they have been coming from an era wherein they have a comparatively sharper memory as well as a good analytical skills, wherein present day we rely on the technology for analyzing things. So we can see in their skills, so huge respect to the attention to detail and disciplined research. So I'll be curious to know how they pursued the research. I also told him to have a discussion about that. And to all the research scholars and students come from across India, this have been a really great opportunity for connecting, and obviously this will be enhancing our opportunity for future connects, for future academic support, and like to say collaborations might be there between us. So we have been staying like a family since 10 days, and I'd like to request Dr. Reddy sir to share the future programs and opportunities also. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Alok Kumar. Currently, I am pursuing my PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University Center for the Study of Regional Development. So currently, I am in the phase where I am preparing my synopsis, and I am in the last phase of it. So this workshop has given me food of thought, both in terms of theory, practicals, modeling, and everything. Hope after coming back, I'll look into it and get something to proceed further in my research. Thank you all. Thank you, Sridhar sir. Thank you, Reddy sir, and all the volunteers for such great hosts and great teachers. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. I'm Devasmita Datta from West Bengal. I'm currently completed my master's in geography, and this GYAN course is really helpful for boost my technical skills and enhance my theoretical advances. I really thankful to Dr. Reddy and Dr. Sridhar sir. They were really communicative, very interactive and friendly towards us. They provide us really important things that we not taught before, and the knowledge they shared with us, the experiences they had gained throughout their journey, it's really helpful for me to choose the way I was thinking and change my way of pursuing the next level of my career. I not think that much of for hydrology, but this course was really helpful for me to think hydrology is not just a process. It was beyond that. The data sources, the methods, the programming, this was really helpful for me. I also thankful to the coordinators, Soria, Gracie ma'am, all the scholars, Araf. They really tolerate us and solving our problems throughout the hands-on sessions. So this was my first GYAN course, and I always thought that this was really helpful for me. And I thanks to all the participants here for sharing their experiences in fields and the teaching professions, and that's all. Thank you.
go with the electrician now? Yeah. Okay, then now, so we will close this feedback session at this point, and then we move to the next session. That is the final session, is the valedictory. Okay, thank you. Within 2-3 minutes, we will plan everything and we will start.
A very pleasant good afternoon to one and all present here. After 10 days of learning, thoughtful, provoking lectures, hands on sessions, and meaningful discussions, we now come to the closing ceremony of the Gyan course on Advances in Analysis and Modeling of Hydrological Extremes. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this validatory session. To begin with the proceedings, I request our respected dignitaries, Professor K. Venkata Reddy, Head of the Civil Engineering Department, and Professor Venkataramana Sridhar, Virginia Tech, USA, to kindly come forward and occupy their seats on the dais. Sir. We are honored by your presence. Thank you, sirs. I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national song.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sukhalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Sasya Shyamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhrajyosna Pulakitayamini, Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Let us now take a glance back at the insightful sessions and knowledge sharing that took place over the past 10 days. I now request Professor Venkata Reddy, the course coordinator and head of the Civil Engineering Department, to present the proceedings of 10-day Gyan program highlighting the journey of learning and collaboration.
Professor Venkataramana Sridhar and all the other faculty members, all the participants and our scholars. Good afternoon. Just I will give the overview of what the proceedings happened in the last 10 days. And then we have the just we can see the what are the slides which will show what exactly happened in the last 10 days. So we could able to take whatever the planned schedule the last 10 days as like a morning all the lecture hours and then afternoon all the practicals, same way we proceeded, and almost we stick to the schedule except a few places like a shift in the timings or especially the last 2 days like a softwares how they are planning. So as also in between as we planned for the field visits, luckily we got what exactly we want to invoice NRSC, same thing like our thing, so we got the necessary approvals and we could able to make the all those visits also exactly what we planned. So I am happy to say that everything we whatever the way we planned it is went with all our cooperation and the way Sridhar is helped us, so we could able to make this thing plan with all our volunteers also. So we will have just show you what exactly happened in the last 10 days. video short presentation. So this is all the what is the 10 days program we made and then how things are gone. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now request Professor Venkatramana Sridhar to deliver the closing remarks and share his insights on the successful culmination of the course.
Good afternoon to all of you again. Good to see you. So, I think you covered all of the topics prior to my coming here and talking about, how the course went. I think you witnessed how the last 10 days have been so interesting and such a wonderful experience for everybody, including us, because, it's kind of a mutual learning. While, delivering lectures is one thing, but then having the opportunity to interact with you during the sessions through question and answers, both from here in the lecture hall and also in the afternoon sessions, I think you showed such an interest and excitement to learn something totally, a new topic for some of you, but for some of you it's kind of a revisiting of some of these topics, which are really an example of how learning happens in an environment that you are mostly new to. I also observed, of course, during the break sessions, during all the other, interactive sessions, during field trips, your constant focus on the subject and also how you saw the new place and how to try to adjust yourself and try to come up with what can you take away from all this. I think that came out in one way or the other through my direct interactions with all of you, and also whenever you asked questions to us, I think it gave us an idea that you are really engaged in this process. And it's not easy to be away from your place for 10 days time to really go through this rigor of training, both from the lecture point of view, sitting through this long sessions of 3 hours or so in the morning and then 3 hours in the afternoon. It is a rigor, it's a grind, but you put up with that. You showed resilience. That's wonderful. So thanks to you all for that kind of interest and engagement. That's wonderful. And Professor Venkat Reddy is to be appreciated greatly for his leadership, coordination, organization of the whole exercise, starting from submitting to the agency for funding, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and then going through the planning process. It took us quite a bit of time for idea generation to how to really scheme the lecture materials. More than 6 months or so we've been thinking about it, and then the volunteers, both the scholars and also the MTech students, who really showed extraordinary interest in preparing the material, of course with some inputs from us, but mostly they took the heavy weight on them to really conduct this tutorials, which I found it very interesting. And like many of you pointed out in your review or feedback, that it's very timely and very relevant to what we are going through in terms of technology development, how to integrate coding into your analysis, how to build models, how to use data sets, finding where to go for data sets and all that. It's basically a long process, but they made it so simple in a way that you could see a range of models, range of ways to adapt to those conditions, particularly when things don't work, which is very common in software classes that we have encountered even there in my place. We come up with alternate plans, and swiftly all the volunteers and the tutorials instructors and the support people, they came together so wonderfully to really manage the situation. So that seemed, really effortless, but it took a lot of effort in terms of coming up with such a plan. Not to really say, okay, we don't have anything for today, so go back to your room, so let's meet tomorrow. No, that was not the case like that, right? So we came up with some alternatives when things did not go as planned, even though we planned many times and executed, practiced, but still things can go wrong, which we assumed, and we were able to actually address those things. And then on the field visit, it's not easy to take 47 of you, and then planning for, coordinating with all the agency officials and then field officials, and especially CWC. You all should feel lucky about, going to that place and seeing the value of, what you got. Because these data sets, when you use in your own analysis and research, I think you will then have some meaning to it. You would put some weight to any of these numbers that you come up with. So that's what we also tried to connect with, from field visits to how you would do research. And lastly, when we use the opportunity to create interest and awareness about conducting research and how to communicate, your interest is extraordinary even in that regard, because it clearly tells me that we are on the path of success in terms of jumping into action right away after you go back, using the material, using the ideas, creating new space for you to operate, because the challenges are new, the problems that we are going to encounter are going to be new than what we are seeing today. So, but at least when you start from here, you can easily grow, launch your career, hopefully adapting to what the environment requires, what the workplace environment requires for you to do. As successful engineers, scientists, academicians, and professionals in the field of all kind. So it's extraordinary. So I think, the interest of all the volunteers here, I have to thank every one of them, showing, such an interest and earnestness to really help you all. They are here all the time to make sure that you feel good about this place. You eat well, you sleep well, you really, learn a lot. All kinds of, support that they provided. I think you should be immensely thankful to them. And I am also thankful to them too. It's wonderful. I am jealous. I am taking this experience back to my own place and see how can I cultivate this culture back in my place. That is the kind of feeling I have. But in any case, I have to say NIT Warangal has always been a place of innovation, creativity, and it supports these kinds of activities. So without the support of the parent institution, this cannot go. And it takes a lot of effort making you travel safely here to all the way to taking care of you for 10 days and making sure that you go back to your place safely. It's all, part of our thoughts always. So hopefully, you gained an experience that's going to remain with you for your life. And I wish you all the best. And if I missed anyone thanking, I'm sorry, but I'm sure, I acknowledge all of your efforts to really see this go through successfully. Appreciate everybody's interest, and thank you all of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now comes the moment of acknowledgement. We proceed with the certificate distribution ceremony. May I request our dignitaries on stage to kindly do the honors. I will be calling out your names one by one. Kindly come forward to receive your certificates.
stand for a photograph or video interview.
Okay, I'm calling you names. Mohan Raju Manne. Kude Raju Gangaram. Dr. Vinod Kumar S. Seetal Sahu. Rakesh Kumar. Alok Kumar. Pooja CP. Ashwin Adip Acharya. Saumik Mahapatra. Bias Day. Vrinda Vijayan. Shahensha Sarkar. Archita Malik. Josh Prajapati. Priyanshu Natawar. Debasmita Datta. Sukanya Biswas. Sheikh Mohammad Imran. Rishikesh Pawar. Saurav Singh, V.V. Satyanarayana Swami, L.K. S.V. Prasad, Aditi Sunil, Arsha R.P., Hina M., Thank you, sir. Now I invite Venkata Reddy, sir, to distribute the certificates. Surya Nair, Vemula Saumya, Shivam Agrahari, Siddhaling, Arun Kumar, Arige Namrata, Athar Akram, Nitin Elpula, Anjana S., Mohammad Salman Shajir, Deepanshu Saini, Jyoti, Mohammad Arafat, Harsh Manu, Mandaji Rishika, Sangem Jayashri, Shiva Pritika, Chakarala Mohammad Rafi, Nukala Hema, Nagendra Babu Tota, Uriti Tarun, Yashwant, Manukola Sai Bharat, KM Kushbu, Alwala Rohan Gaud, Lakshmi Shravya, Pooja SN, Gracie, Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's time to express our heartfelt gratitude. Now, I invite Professor K. Venkat Reddy for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. Once again, my privilege to thank all the people who helped to this program to make it a success. So to start with, so I thank you very much, our Professor Venkatramana Sridhar. So I think as is mentioned, right, we are long back, actually almost 1 year, is spending time with us and then giving all the topics and how to proceed. And he also helping us to make like all the slides, like before you are coming only, we are planning and checking a number of things, even the tutorials. So giving suggestion like how to make all things. So thank you very much. Actually, with all your support only we could make this one. Actually, thank you very much. And spending with all your, actually I can understand like to come all the way to here and then spend time here. It's not so easy. Thank you very much, sir. And our Dean IRA and our director, they're all like giving full support for us to see that everything go as per the procedure and then to make it happen for us. And Vamsi Krishna, with our research faculty, is also helping me into making the things one by one to put in the organizing and to make it happen. And our volunteers to prepare the training manual onwards and to take care of the program. All the people for our MTech students, they're all the Atar Akram, Arafat, Surya Nair, Arun Kumar, Soumya. So they're all like helping like anything like last few days they're almost like available 24/7. If anything agency, they're all like they're contacting to all the people who are here, and then whenever you are asking, they are providing all their support. And all our scholars actually, they are all like making the things background, lot of things they are doing actually. So Rafi actually the fortresses we ask like to available for all the across HMS models to see that it will go in a smooth way, so that he has all experience already, better experience. So we ask him immediately accepted and then continuously available. Not only for that thing, later also continuously helping us throughout this program. And then Ishwar, I think you saw he's gone for other work actually. So he's actually once I said like a lot of, we can say help is required to the people to work the things in a systematic way. He made all the things. And Gracie and Hema actually, they're all taking care of all other things actually, proceedings and how to take care and to see the things, how to happen one by one. So all the TLC people, they're all like provided the lab for us so that we can work with seamlessly. And seminar hall people who are working here, and then videographer, I think they're also like taking all the, whenever the issue comes immediately they're reporting us. See that and stream, live stream, it is there also. Whenever there is when to stop, when to wait, they're all working in a very good way. So all this Kalam Hall, like Chief Ward and other people, they're all like, once we say that these many people are coming in a diversified places, and to see that everything has to go smooth, so they helped us to see that everything go in a smooth way. So on all other steps, we helped us from our department side and then here. So with this, I think I thank all the people. Anybody miss me, that just like by this thing only. Otherwise, thank all the people who helped with this program to see that everything goes fine. And finally, I thank all the participants. Actually, say they're all coming from different places, and then I can understand the difficulties and some things we could also have a lot of limitations. We want to do very better. Sometimes it's like have limitations. So we are accepting all those limitations and then spend 10 days and see that appreciating our program. Thank you very much. So, yeah. So with this, I say like thank you all for doing this program success. So yeah, so we conclude the session. I will hand over to Bessie for the closing things.
Thank you, sir. Let us now rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Please be seated. Before we part ways, let's capture the memories. We request all the participants and dignitaries to assemble for a group photograph.
क्या है?
वो तो बेटर होता, लोअर हाइट है।